Scientists have long known that most whales sink to the ocean floor upon death along their migration routes, not to a mythical graveyard. These massive creatures, the largest on Earth, with blue whales reaching 30 meters and 100 tons, were thought to create a food bonanza in the deep sea. However, the rich communities thriving around a whale carcass were first observed only in 1987, when a submersible found a whale corpse on the seabed, and the U.S. Navy discovered 8 skeletons off California. Inspired by these finds, researchers began sinking whale carcasses to study their decomposition and ecosystem impact. In the food-scarce deep sea, a whale carcass provides an extraordinary resource, equivalent to 4,000 years of organic matter. Decomposition can take decades, attracting diverse scavengers in succession. Initially, sleeper sharks and hagfish devour the flesh, stripping up to 60 kilograms daily over months or years. This messy feeding enriches nearby sediments, allowing worms, snails, and crustaceans to thrive and reproduce. Remarkably, many species near whale falls were previously unknown, some specializing in these nutrient-rich remains. Among them are bone-eating Ostax worms, which burrow into bones with bacteria-assisted digestion. As organic matter depletes, bacteria generate sulfides, supporting chemiosynthetic ecosystems like those at hydrothermal vents. Over 400 species can colonize a single skeleton, sustaining these communities for decades. However, human whaling has drastically reduced whale populations by up to 75%, cutting the number of whale falls and threatening dependent species. This underscores the interconnectedness of ocean ecosystems and how the fate of abyssal life hinges on healthy whale populations. The Hadal Zone, the ocean realm beyond 6,000 meters in depth, derives its name from Hades, the Greek god of the underworld. These trenches, reaching depths of up to 11,000 meters, cover just over 1% of the ocean floor. With pressures exceeding a ton per square centimeter, they seem inhospitable, yet life thrives there. Surprisingly, trenches lie close to shorelines, not the ocean's center, with over 30 surpassing 6,000 meters and 4 approaching 11,000 meters. The Pacific Ocean hosts most trenches, formed where tectonic plates converge. Here, one plate subducts beneath another, creating these massive chasms. The deepest point, Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, was identified in 1950 at 10,924 meters. In 1960, U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh and Jacques Picard reached Challenger Deep aboard the Bathyscaphe Trieste. This historic descent proved life could endure extreme pressures. Today, trench exploration relies on robotic submersibles, as most manned submersibles are limited to 6,000 meters. Japan, near numerous trenches, pioneered trench studies with Keiko, a robotic vehicle capable of descending 11 kilometers. Keiko revealed thriving ecosystems, from pressure-dependent microbes to large gelatinous sea cucumbers, efficient for energy-scarce environments. It also discovered foraminifera, some acting as living fossils, and amphipods, crustaceans with oversized guts adapted to feast on fallen carcasses. Trenches host unique communities relying on wood debris swept from shore or chemosynthesis from tectonic gases. Endemic species dominate these isolated environments, with up to 50% of species in a single trench found nowhere else. Despite these discoveries, much of the Hadal Zone remains unexplored, especially the vast water column between 6,000 meters and the seafloor. The loss of Keiko in 2003 underscored the immense challenges of uncovering life's secrets in the planet's most extreme habitats. Colacendias have an extraordinary leg-to-body ratio. Their legs can span up to 50 centimeters or more, while their bodies are tiny in comparison. This spindly design is perfectly suited for navigating the deep-sea floor and allows them to minimize energy expenditure. Unlike most arthropods, they lack gills or lungs. Instead, they breathe through diffusion. Oxygen is absorbed directly through the surface of their bodies, including their legs, which are highly vascularized. This adaptation suits the low-oxygen environments of the deep sea. Their legs aren't just for walking, they house much of their digestive system. Gut extensions called kika stretch into the legs, maximizing digestion and nutrient absorption in a compact body. Sea spiders are not true spiders but belong to a distinct class. Their evolutionary relationships remain a mystery, with scientists debating whether they are more closely related to arachnids or other arthropods. Despite their complex behaviors, they have a surprisingly simple nervous system. Their bodies seem to challenge traditional views of what is necessary for complex locomotion and feeding. Patagonian toothfish spawn in deep water during the austral winter, producing pelagic eggs and larvae. Larvae switch to a demersal habitat at around 100 meters and inhabit relatively shallow water until 6 to 7 years of age, when they begin a gradual migration into deeper water. As juveniles in shallow water, toothfish are primarily piscivorous, consuming the most abundant, suitably sized local prey. With increasing size and habitat depth, the diet diversifies and includes more scavenging of squid, fish, and crustaceans. In turn, toothfish constitute a small part of the diets of sperm whales, southern elephant seals, and colossal squid. Among themselves, researchers nicknamed this small, primitive fish with a pouty expression the owl fish because of its eyes, which resemble two large glass marbles. Its physiology is adapted to the extreme depths it inhabits. It lacks a swim bladder, the air-filled sac that provides most fish with neutral buoyancy. Its skeleton is very light, and its skin, which has a leathery texture, is scale-free. Indeed, the deeper you go, the less calcium there is in the water, making skeleton construction and scale formation more energy-intensive. To float effortlessly, the Bathylogus has another trick, a subcutaneous layer of gelatin that is lighter than water. Due to its small size, it holds no commercial value, unlike other species found near seamounts. Black dragonfish is a barbelled dragonfish of the family Stomiidae, found circumglobally in southern subtropical and temperate oceans. At depths down to 2,000 meters, the species is sexually dimorphic. Females are black with 6 stripes, males are brown and lack the female's canine teeth, pelvic fins, and barbel. They can weigh between 15 grams. Females are believed to make a ideal vertical migration from deeper than 500 meters by day to surface waters at night, whereas males do not migrate, remaining below 1,000 meters at all times. Length is up to 40 centimeters for the female, but only 5 centimeters for the male. Black dragonfishes are bioluminescent, but unlike most such predators, which use their light primarily to attract prey, they can see their own light. As a result, the fish can use their light to hunt. The light is nearly in the infrared and barely visible to the human eye. In the larval stage, the eyes of the larvae appear as long stalks that dangle out of the body. Eventually, they retreat as the fish ages and reaches maturity. The Greenland halibut, a flatfish with a unique morphology, has its left eye positioned on the dorsal ridge, giving it a cyclopean appearance when viewed head-on. Its body is elongated and dorsoventrally compressed, with muscles equally developed on both sides, and its blind side is slightly lighter in pigmentation. This cold water species inhabits depths from the surface to 2,200 meters, with a circumpolar distribution across the northern hemisphere, including the North Atlantic and North Pacific Oceans. Opportunistic predators, they adapt their diet as they grow, feeding on small crustaceans, shrimp, fish, and squid, varying by region and prey availability. Greenland halibut spawn from January to March, performing spawning rises into mid-depth waters, and their eggs remain in the water column during development. Due to the long vitellogenesis cycle required for their large eggs, females can currently develop two groups of oocytes, allowing them to spawn annually instead of biennially. Gigantactis vanhoefini has metamorphosed females which are distinguished from other species in the genus by the length of the elysium. The elysium is relatively short with a length equivalent to less than 120% of the standard length of the fish, even shorter in larger individuals. The bulb of the esca has an elongated tip. This elongated tip has a covering of spinules and is darkly pigmented. The bulb and the elongated tip have flattened papillae on their surface. The tip of the escal has short filaments near its tip and thin filaments near its base. The elysium has a pair of filaments near the esca on its rear surface. The long teeth on the dentary are arranged in 3 rows. This species has a maximum published total length of 60 centimeters. Dog-tooth grenadier is a species of rattail that occurs in the southern oceans, mostly south of the Antarctic convergence. This fish is found at depths of from 500 to 3,800 meters. This species grows to a length of 50 centimeters in total length. In 1909, Louis Dallow paper describing this species and circumscribing its monospecific genus Cynomacrurus was published. The holotype was collected by the Scotia during the Scottish National Antarctic Expedition on March 15, 1904. It was later deposited in the Scottish Oceanographical Laboratory. The specific epithet was named in honor of Harvey Peary, who was the surgeon, geologist, and bacteriologist aboard the Scotia. The sea pen is a type of coral that anchors itself in muddy sediment using a bulbous foot that inflates with water to stabilize the animal. It extends its tall stalk over a meter above the substrate, allowing its feeding polyps to benefit from stronger currents than those sweeping the immediate interface between the seabed and the water. The macrourines form a large and diverse family with 28 extant genera recognized. They are approximately 60 centimeters in length like the Haplomacrurus nudorostris. Several attempts have been made to establish a commercial fishery for the most common larger species, but the fish is considered unpalatable, and attempts thus far have proven unsuccessful. The subfamily as a whole may represent up to 15% of the deep-sea fish population. Rattails, characterized by large heads with large mouths and eyes, have slender bodies that taper very much to very thin caudal peduncles or tails. This rat-like tail explains the common name rat tail, and the name of the subfamily and the surname are derived from the Greek makros meaning big, and aura meaning tail. The first dorsal flat is small, tall, and pointed. The second dorsal fin runs along the rest of the back and connects to the tail and the large anal fin. The scales are small. The blobfish lacks a traditional swim bladder, which would collapse under high pressure. Instead, it has a soft, gelatinous body with a density slightly less than seawater, allowing it to float effortlessly just above the seafloor without expending energy. It inhabits depths of 600 to 1200 meters, where pressures are dozens of times greater than at the surface. Its unique physiology is perfectly adapted to survive these extreme conditions. The infamous blob appearance of Cycrolids frictus is due to the lack of water pressure when it is brought to the surface. In its natural habitat, it appears more streamlined and compact, suitable for navigating its environment. Due to the scarcity of food in the deep sea, blobfish have an extremely low metabolic rate. This allows them to survive on minimal amounts of food and conserve energy in an environment where resources are scarce. Deep-sea species like Cycrolids frictus often have long lifespans, as they grow slowly in cold, high-pressure environments with little predation. This strategy helps ensure survival in the deep ocean. The Deepsteria enigmatica is a unique jellyfish with a wide, thin, transparent bell up to 60 centimeters in diameter. It lacks tentacles and uses wave-like peristaltic movements to propel itself and capture prey. Its bell features a geometric mesh-like gastrovascular system, which distributes nutrients as it contracts. Deepsteria also contributes to deep-sea ecosystems through jelly falls, where its carcass enriches the ocean floor with organic material, similar to whale falls. Symbiotic relationships with isopods, which live inside its bell for protection and nourishment, have been observed, though the exact nature of this relationship, mutualistic or parasitic, is debated. This jellyfish captures prey by enclosing it within its bell, an unusual feeding strategy among jellyfish. The Deepsteria enigmatica exemplifies deep-sea adaptations and highlights the interconnectedness of ocean ecosystems. The abyssal grenadier is a deep-sea fish found globally at depths ranging from 800 to 5,180 meters, with an average adult size of 20 to 40 centimeters but occasionally reaching up to 1 meter. It has a distinctive body with large eyes, a small mouth, 2 dorsal spines, and soft rays supporting its fins. Its diet evolves with age, shifting from benthic invertebrates like crustaceans and sea cucumbers to mesopelagic fish, cephalopods, and sea urchins. This species adapts to its nutrient-scarce habitat by maintaining a low metabolic rate and foraging actively but efficiently, often consuming phytodetritus opportunistically. Its reproductive strategy appears simulparous, as few ripe females and no spent individuals have been observed. The abundance of chorophenoids armatus correlates with the availability of carrion, showing its reliance on organic falls in nutrient-poor environments. Like other members of the genus Luidia, the magnificent star is likely to be an opportunist predator of macrofauna and possibly also a scavenger. Other related species favor a diet of bivalve mollusks and echinoids. The magnificent star can move rapidly, appearing to glide across the sandy seabed. It swallows large items of food whole, digesting them in its 2 stomachs and further processing the remains in the pyloric ceca in the base of its arms. It then ejects any undigested material through its anus. The spirula, commonly known as the ram's horn squid, is a small, deep-water cephalopod, 3 to 5 centimeters long, and the sole living member of its genus, family, and order. Its most notable feature is a lightweight, chambered, internal shell, which controls buoyancy and often washes ashore on tropical and temperate beaches due to its durability and buoyancy. This squid-like animal has 8 arms and 2 tentacles but lacks a radula, and its photophore at the tip of its mantle emits green light, likely for counterillumination in its vertical swimming stance. Found in tropical and subtropical waters at depths of 1,000 meters by day and 100 to 300 meters at night, spirula inhabits areas near oceanic islands and continental shelves. Shells are often found on coasts far from their habitat, suggesting long-distance transport by currents. Despite being common in some regions, much of its life history, including spawning, remains poorly understood. Live observations of spirula in its natural habitat were first recorded in 2020 near the Great Barrier Reef. Acesta excavata lives in deep ocean environments, typically found attached to hard substrates like cliffs, boulders, or shipwrecks at depths ranging from 200 to 2,000 meters. It is particularly abundant in cold-water coral reefs and hydrocarbon seep environments. This species is often found near methane seeps, areas where hydrocarbons like methane leak from the seabed. It has been suggested that symbiotic bacteria in its gills help the clam metabolize nutrients from these chemical-rich environments, a trait it shares with other deep-sea bivalves. The shell of Acesta excavata is thin, flattened, and often translucent with a striking orange or pinkish hue, making it visually distinct compared to other deep-sea bivalves. This light structure allows it to thrive in environments where energy resources are scarce. This species serves as an indicator of healthy cold-water ecosystems. Its presence often signifies a well-established habitat with stable conditions, such as coral reefs or seep systems. The Baird's beaked whale is the largest species of beaked whale, with adults reaching lengths of up to 12.8 meters and weighing as much as 12 tons. Its large size makes it comparable to some baleen whales, despite being a toothed whale. Like other beaked whales, it is adapted for extreme deep-sea diving. They can dive to depths exceeding 3,000 meters and remain submerged for up to an hour in search of food. Their diet primarily consists of deep-sea squid, fish, and crustaceans. They are believed to use echolocation to locate prey in the dark depths of the ocean. Males have two prominent, visible teeth that protrude from their lower jaw, which are thought to be used for fighting or display. They are highly social and often observed in pods of 6 to 30 individuals. These pods are likely composed of related individuals, and their social bonds are believed to be strong. Like other beaked whales, they produce high-frequency clicks and whistles for echolocation and communication. These sounds are specialized for deep-sea navigation and hunting. The tadpole whiptail is a deep-sea species found at depths between 1,100 and 1,400 meters in the North Pacific Ocean. This fish is typically found in cold, deep waters and is considered a benthic or near-benthic species, spending much of its time close to the ocean floor. It has a relatively small body, reaching up to 40 to 50 centimeters in length. One of the most distinctive features of Squalogatus modificatus is its modified spine. It has a unique dorsal spine that is quite distinct compared to other sharks in its family. As a bottom-dwelling predator, it feeds on a variety of small fish, crustaceans, and other invertebrates that live on or near the sea floor. It likely uses its sharp teeth and strong jaw muscles to capture and eat its prey, although its diet is still not fully understood. This species plays a role as a mesopredator in its ecosystem, helping regulate populations of smaller fish and invertebrates. Its position at the lower levels of the food chain contributes to the health of the deep-sea ecosystem. whiptail gulper is very similar to others in the genus Sacopharynx, featuring large mouths and long slender bodies. It is typically dark in color and has small eyes. This is probably because at the depths these eels dwell, there is little to no light from the sun. They also feature a bioluminescent organ at the tips of their long tails, the function of which is currently unknown. It occurs at depths of 2,000 to 3,000 meters. It has been hypothesized that the large mouth of the eel allows it to swallow prey much larger than itself. While no specimens have been observed mating in the wild, observations of dead specimens have led scientists to believe that this species dies after mating, much like freshwater eels. The Bythagriidae are a small family of blind crabs which live around hydrothermal vents. The family contains 16 species in 6 genera. Their relationships to other crabs are unclear. They are believed to eat bacteria and other vent organisms. The hydrothermal vents where these crabs live are typically short-lived, lasting from 10 to 100 years. These are extreme environments, with high temperatures, high concentrations of sulfides, heavy metals, carbon dioxide, and an acidic environment. At this depth there is also limited access to light, making photosynthesis nearly impossible. Instead, organisms rely on chemosynthetic bacteria to sustain the vast amounts of life in chemotrophic ecosystems. Bythagriidae are omnivorous scavengers. They are believed to eat bacteria and other vent organisms, however they can also be found far from active sites. Remicaris exoculata is a shrimp species found around hydrothermal vents, typically measuring 4 to 6 centimeters in length and weighing about 2 grams. They undergo a molt cycle that causes them to transition from white to translucent due to mineral deposits in their branchial chamber. This species lacks eyes but has a dorsal eye spot under its carapace, enabling it to detect dim light and chemicals emitted by the vents. Their gill chambers house dense communities of chemoautotrophic bacteria, which provide essential nutrition through symbiosis. Remicaris exoculata is commonly found in large clusters at depths up to 3,600 meters around hydrothermal black smoker vents in the mid-Atlantic ridge. The shrimp hosts diverse bacterial symbionts acquired horizontally each generation, with microbial communities thriving in its gut, which is enriched with sulfides and iron oxide particles from the vent fluid. They reproduce through internal fertilization, with larvae undergoing a 2-stage development process that allows for widespread dispersal before settling back near hydrothermal vents. The pudgy cusk eel is a common fish of deep oceans worldwide. It is bathy demersal, living along the ocean floor most often at depths between 2,000 and 3,000 meters, and known from waters as deep as 4,800 meters. It is one of the largest bony fishes living below 2,000 meters, reaching up to 130 centimeters in length. The male is larger than the female and darker in color. It has a long, laterally compressed body and a rounded snout with a single fleshy anterior nostril in front of a flat posterior nostril. The fish varies in coloration from pale with white fins to light brown to dark brown. Individuals from the Atlantic Ocean are often pale while Pacific Ocean specimens are usually darker. The abyssal spitterfish is known to inhabit extreme depths, typically ranging from 1,000 to 3,500 meters in the ocean. It primarily lives in the mesopelagic to bathypelagic zones, where sunlight no longer penetrates. One of the most striking features of Bathypterois longips is its unusually long pectoral fins, which can be up to half its body length. These long fins are thought to help the fish maintain stability in the deep ocean, where currents are strong and food is scarce. Living at such depths, it is adapted to low oxygen conditions. It has specialized respiratory adaptations that allow it to survive and thrive in environments with reduced levels of dissolved oxygen. Due to its deep-sea habitat, Bathypterois longips is rarely encountered, and most of what is known about the species comes from specimens caught in deep-sea trawls or remotely captured through underwater exploration technology. The faceless cusk is found in the Indian and Pacific Oceans at depths from about 3935 to 5100 meters. The species grows to 45 centimeters in standard length. The fish is named after its appearance due to having an extremely reduced face. The mouth is located on the underside of the head. The sides of the head do not display any visible eyes. However, Typhlinus nasus does possess eyes, which can be seen deep beneath the skin in small-sized specimens. It also possesses two pairs of large nostrils towards the front of the head above the mouth. The species has discernible gill covers on each side of the head and large deciduous scales. It also has reduced dorsal and anal fins, which are dark in colors and are fused at the end, as a replacement for a lacking caudal fin. The fins of this fish are black in color, with a very pale body. The toothed sea devils exhibit sexual dimorphism, with adult females being large, dark-colored, and having slender bodies up to 11 centimeters long, while males are much smaller, parasitic, and only known from specimens attached to females. The females possess prominent conical outgrowths on their jaws, each bearing 2 to 3 straight teeth, the longest reaching up to 15% of their body length. Unlike other deep-sea anglerfish, toothed sea devils lack a bioluminescent lure in the trough that holds it. The diet of the toothed sea devil is unclear, though it is suggested that the external jaw teeth may help entangle prey, and the males rely on parasitism to survive. Cycropods is a genus of sea cucumbers in the family Cycropodidae. The members of this genus possess the ability to swim, although this is only facultative. As adults, species of cycropods are roughly cylindrical in shape and red to violet in color. They have a sail-like appendage which can be used for swimming during the larval stage, but is no longer needed when it is fully grown. Larvae of cycropod species are benthopelagic and swim around using the aforementioned appendage. However, researchers are still trying to understand its use when the holothurian is fully grown. Larvae are transparent and can grow to around 2 centimeters long. The shorthorn fongtooth is a species of fongtooth found in the tropical waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans at depths between 1,500 to 1,700 meters. This species grows to a length of 6 centimeters. This species is native to a deep water area. Unlike many other fish, the fangtooth is large, fong-like teeth are permanently attached to their jaw bones without replacement. These teeth also lack the typical calcium phosphate layer seen in other fish teeth, a feature that may contribute to the fangtooth's survival in the extreme conditions of the deep sea. Nematocarcinus longirostris has an exceptionally long rostrum, often longer than its body. This is one of its most distinctive features and helps the shrimp navigate and possibly sense the surrounding environment. This species is found in deep-sea environments, typically at depths ranging from 3,000 meters to over 7,000 meters, primarily in the Atlantic Ocean. They inhabit the deep continental slopes, where they are exposed to high pressure, low light, and cold temperatures. It is believed to be a scavenger, feeding on detritus that falls from the upper layers of the ocean. The long rostrum may also help it in capturing food or navigating through the deep-sea sediments. Unlike many other deep-sea creatures, it does not possess bioluminescence. This suggests that it relies on other methods, such as chemical detection, for survival in the lightless depths. The arms of Ophiophalma bristle stars are simple and unbranched, projecting from and well fused to the edge of the disc. These arms move horizontally and its arm spines short and movable. They lie flat against the arms when stimulated, but held erect when the brittle star is at rest. Disc and arms are covered in naked, distinct scales. The scales are situated at both sides of the disc. The jaw is surrounded by a continuous series of mouth papillae. The base of the arm contains a single arm comb or an inner and outer arm comb. The thin-shelled test of the wonderful sea urchin is bottle-shaped, more than twice as long as it is wide, and with a marked rostrum at the posterior end. At the anterior end, the aboral ambulacrum is sunk, forming a funnel-like, forward-facing, nearly circular opening that leads to the peristome. The aboral surface has scattered low tubercles. Portalesia differs from the otherwise similar Helgocystis in having the posterior ambulacral plate separate from the others. Adults are about 2 centimeters long. The postlarval Portalesia is at first radially symmetric, but as it grows, it becomes increasingly bilaterally symmetric. Growth is performed in 2 ways, by the creation of new plates at the apical end, and by the enlargement of existing plates by accretion around their margins. It is in the combination of these 2 mechanisms that this echinoid achieves its unusual form, with the 5th interambulacrum being progressively broken into 2 parts. Halecium hadal is a species of hydrozoan found at deep-sea hydrothermal vent ecosystems. It is notable for its adaptation to life in extreme environments, with its colonies living at depths of over 1,000 meters. This hydrozoan species, belonging to the family Halecidae, displays the unique characteristic of being a highly branched organism, with polyps growing on a branching hydrocollis that is often polysiphonic. While its exact feeding mechanisms are not fully understood, these hydrozoans are thought to be involved in complex symbiotic relationships with other deep-sea species, potentially interacting with bacteria or other microorganisms. The colony structure includes deeply indented hydrothecae, which house the polyps responsible for feeding. Halecium hadal is found in various parts of the world's oceans, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, at significant depths that often coincide with hydrothermal vent systems or deepwater coral habitats. Its ecological role is still under study, but it may be part of the intricate food webs that thrive in these high-pressure, low-light environments. Thalassonerid anaticoidea is a deep-sea gastropod that lives around cold seeps where hydrocarbons leak from the seafloor, often found near beds of Bathymodilus childressy mussels. These snails are attracted to mussel beds, likely due to water altered by the mussels, though the exact attractant is unknown. As a euryhaline species, they prefer saline conditions between 30 to 50, but can tolerate salinities as high as 85 by sealing their operculum to avoid high salinity. Their diet consists mainly of methanotrophic bacteria growing on mussel shells and detritus from the mussels. The reproductive cycle includes internal fertilization, with eggs laid in white-rimmed capsules on mussel shells, and development takes around 4 months before hatching into velager larvae. These larvae are planktotrophic, feeding on plankton and swimming for several months before undergoing metamorphosis into adult snails. 32. Grimpoteuthis bathynex. Grimpoteuthis bathynex in general form is distinguished from other Grimpoteuthis species by a suite of characteristics. Each of the dorsal arms have 47 to 58 suckers, with the suckers slightly larger and more globular in males. The pairs of cirri start between the 3rd and 4th sucker, and at greatest length the cirri are roughly equal to the sucker diameter. The internal shell is roughly U-shaped, its ends flattened with small spikes. The octopus lacks a radula and posterior salivary gland, and has 7 to 9 gill lamellae on each gill. The mantle and head are gray, posterior edges of the fins are reddish-brown, the inside of the arm webbing is dark purple to reddish-brown. Abyssobrachula galathea is a species of cusk eel, recognized as the deepest living fish, having been captured at a record depth of 8,370 meters in the Puerto Rico Trench. Although this species is primarily bottom-dwelling in the abyssal and hadal zones, it has also been found in the water column on rare occasions. It feeds on polychaete worms and crustaceans such as amphipods and isopods. The species grows to a length of 16 centimeters, with distinct features including a swollen snout, small eyes, and a well-developed system of sensory pores. Abyssobrachula galathea has long pectoral fins with 10 to 11 rays and a yellowish coloration with a dark branchial cavity, adapted to its deep-sea environment. Scotoplanes globosa, commonly known as the sea pig, is a species of sea cucumber living in the deep sea. It was first described by Hjalmar Thiel in the late 19th century, following its discovery during the Challenger expedition. These sea cucumbers are typically found on the abyssal plain at depths over 1,000 meters, including locations like the Kermadec and Philippine trenches. Scotoplanes globosa lives in congregations called trawls, often facing into the current, possibly to detect better feeding sites. It is a deposit feeder, consuming recently fallen detritus, and has been observed around whale carcasses, which provide abundant nutrients. This species is bilaterally symmetrical and covered with tube-like feet, used for both locomotion and potentially respiration. Scotoplanes globosa is often accompanied by the lithidid crab Neolithides diomedia, which may offer protection from parasites, though the nature of their relationship remains unclear. The sea pig's soft, round body and tube limbs allow it to walk along the seafloor, a unique behavior among holothurians. Actinurnus nobilis is a deep-sea anemone found in the bathyal and abyssal zones of the ocean, ranging from 394 meters to over 4,000 meters in depth. This species is characterized by a thick, lobed column and numerous tentacles that display variations in size and structure, with the largest ones typically located at the apices of the lobes. A. nobilis is a member of the order Actiniaria and possesses two well-developed siphonic glyphs, which are key to its feeding mechanism. The species' tentacles have distinct thickenings, especially in the older portions, which may aid in capturing prey. Unlike some other anemones, A. nobilis does not have marginal sphincter musculature, but it does have a variety of mesenteries that contribute to its structural complexity. As a deep-sea organism, its specific ecological roles and interactions within its habitat, including potential symbioses or parasitic relationships, remain areas of active study. Cladorhiza is a genus of carnivorous sponges, comprising around 40 species found in oceans around the world. Cladorhiza is the type genus of the family Cladorhizidae. Species of Cladorhiza occur in a diverse range of shapes, some ranging from globular to spherical to conical, with others attaining a tree-like or bush-like appearance. Many species have a narrow stalk or stem. Most species range from 2 to 12 centimeters in height, with a few attaining heights of 20 to 40 centimeters. Spirobranchus hydalis is a species of marine polychaete worm found in the deep-sea regions, specifically the Hadal zone, which extends to depths of 6,000 meters or more. These worms are known for their striking spiral-shaped calcareous tubes, which they use for protection and to anchor themselves to various hard substrates like rocks and coral. Spirobranchus hydalis is closely related to other species of Spirobranchus, which are typically found in shallow coral reefs, but these deep-sea species exhibit unique adaptations to survive in extreme pressure and darkness. The species plays a key ecological role, filtering organic particles from the water using their elaborate feather-like gills. These worms are sessile and typically live in relatively small colonies on seafloor features. Research has shown that some species of Spirobranchus may even influence the local ecology by promoting water circulation around coral, although this interaction can be competitive under certain conditions, as some corals may be aggressive towards them. Studies on Spirobranchus are important for understanding deep-sea ecosystems, particularly how organisms survive in such extreme conditions and contribute to nutrient cycling in the deep ocean. Euchaeta barbata, a species of copepod, was first described in 1883 by Brady as part of the scientific results from the Challenger expedition. This species belongs to the order Calanoida and is part of the Euchaetidae family. Euchaeta barbata is known for its ecological role as a pelagic copepod, commonly found in the deep-sea regions of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and has been recorded at various depths in the ocean. It shares close ties with other members of the Euchaeta genus, such as Euchaeta farani. The species has been the subject of studies related to its taxonomy, distribution, and biology, particularly in bathypelagic zones. For a more detailed review of its biology and habitat, you can consult sources such as the World Register of Marine Species or other scientific literature like Sarsia, which investigates deep-sea copepod species. Bathypaths patula is a deep-sea coral species, a member of the Antipatria group, known for its significant resilience and longevity. This black coral is found in deep-sea habitats, typically at depths of 50 to 80 meters, where it forms dense colonies that serve as habitats for various marine species. The species is distinguished by its unique skeletal structure, composed of a hard, black material that is highly prized in the creation of jewelry. It grows extremely slowly, with some colonies possibly reaching several centuries of age. These corals depend on the slow accumulation of food particles, such as plankton, which drift down from the surface waters. This slow growth and long lifespan make Bathypaths patula a valuable subject of study for understanding deep-sea ecosystems and the effects of environmental changes over time. Recent studies have used radiocarbon dating to estimate the age of these corals, revealing remarkable longevity, with some individuals possibly living for over 4,000 years. It is also essential for understanding oceanographic currents and their role in supporting diverse deep-sea life. Gigantapsioides maxima is a deep-sea tanidation crustacean found at extraordinary depths of up to 6,447 meters. This species was first described by Gamo in 1984 and is a part of the Gigantapsididae family. Observations of its behavior and habitat suggest that it is epibenthic, meaning it lives on or near the ocean floor, where it exhibits unique movement patterns. For instance, its fourth pair of legs are raised while walking, likely serving functions other than locomotion, such as chemoreception or posture control. The species has been recorded in the deep trenches, including the Kermadec Trench, and is notable for being one of the deepest living members of its genus. In one study, a group of Gigantapsioides was filmed in its natural habitat, with at least one individual observed entering a hole in the seabed. This in situ footage provided new insights into its lifestyle and confirmed the species' role in deep-sea ecosystems. These deep-sea crustaceans are important for understanding the behavioral and ecological dynamics of the deep ocean floor, and ongoing research continues to uncover their specialized adaptations to extreme depths. Bathydoris hodgsoni is a deep-sea species of nudibranch, a type of sea slug, and belongs to the family Bathydoриdae. It is particularly interesting due to its production of a novel chemical compound, a dry-main sesquiterpene, isolated from its mantle. This compound, which is found predominantly on the extremities of the animal, likely serves as a chemical defense mechanism, deterring potential predators like starfish. Bathydoris hodgsoni is an opportunistic feeder, consuming a variety of prey, which includes other marine organisms found in its deep-sea environment. The species was first described in 1971 and is found at depths where few other organisms can thrive, reflecting its adaptation to the abyssal zone. Pseudoleparis amblystomaps. Pseudoleparis amblystomaps, also known as the abyssal snailfish, is a fascinating species of deep-sea fish that lives at extreme depths in the ocean. Found in the Mariana Trench, this species has been recorded at depths around 7,000 meters, making it one of the deepest living fish species. The species is adapted to survive in the high-pressure, low-light conditions typical of the trench environment. Notably, Pseudoleparis amblystomaps has a soft, gelatinous body that helps it withstand the crushing pressure of such extreme depths. Recent studies have shown that Pseudoleparis amblystomaps, like other deep-sea fish, has specialized metabolic and physiological mechanisms that allow it to function at such depths. These include adaptations in its muscle structure and energy production pathways, enabling it to move and survive in a low-oxygen environment. Its diet consists mainly of smaller invertebrates and organic material from the ocean floor. This species was first discovered as part of efforts to study life in the deepest parts of the ocean, contributing significantly to our understanding of deep-sea biodiversity and adaptation. 43. Hesialara bergi. Hesialara bergi is a bioluminescent polychaete worm from the deep sea, notable for its light-emitting ability. It is typically found in habitats rich in methane and hydrogen sulfide, such as hydrothermal vent ecosystems, where bioluminescence aids in communication, predation, and camouflage. The worm has a flattened, elongated body with scaled segments, helping it navigate harsh conditions. Hesialara bergi likely feeds on organic particles from higher ocean layers, though its exact feeding habits remain under study. Its bioluminescence may attract prey or deter predators. This species offers insight into the survival adaptations needed in extreme deep-sea environments. 44. Hirandelia gigas. Hirandelia gigas is a deep-sea amphipod species that inhabits extreme depths, particularly in the Mariana Trench. These crustaceans are found in some of the deepest and most pressurized regions of the ocean, where they face intense challenges due to the crushing pressure, low temperatures, and lack of light. One of the most interesting features of Hirandelia gigas is its exoskeleton, which contains a surprising component, aluminum. Unlike other deep-sea creatures, which use calcium carbonate to harden their exoskeletons, it uses aluminum to reinforce its body armor. This discovery is particularly notable because aluminum is typically found in the sediments of the trench, and the amphipods appear to ingest it to help form a protective layer that strengthens their exoskeletons under the extreme pressure of the deep ocean. The aluminum in their shells prevents calcium carbonate from dissolving in the surrounding water, which is crucial for the amphipod's survival in these depths. This adaptation highlights the remarkable ways in which life has evolved to survive in some of Earth's most inhospitable environments. Despite the challenges, it thrives in the deepest parts of the ocean, showcasing how specialized organisms can adapt to the harshest conditions on the planet. 45. Hymenaster. Hymenaster is a genus of deep-sea starfish from the Breezingidea family, often called slime stars. These echinoderms are adapted to extreme deep-sea environments, typically found in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. They have long, slender arms used for filter feeding on plankton and organic particles, with specialized structures that help them capture food effectively. Known for secreting a mucus-like substance, they are called slime stars, and this slime may aid in feeding and defense against predators. Hymenaster's adaptations help it thrive in dark, high-pressure environments, and although bioluminescence in related species is suggested, it is less studied in this genus. These starfish play important roles in deep-sea ecosystems, contributing to biodiversity and nutrient cycling within the marine food web. "46. Elpidia glacialis. Elpidia glacialis is a species of deep-sea sea cucumber that belongs to the family Elpidiidae. Described by Hjalmar Thiel in 1876, it is primarily found at extreme depths, particularly in cold, high-pressure oceanic regions. This species is part of the genus Elpidia, which is known for its specialized rod-shaped spicules, important for survival in the deep-sea environment. The species inhabits abyssal zones, typically at depths exceeding 2,000 meters, where it plays an essential role in nutrient cycling. Elpidia glacialis feeds on organic particles that sink from upper ocean layers, contributing to the breakdown of detritus in its ecosystem. As an echinoderm, it shares some unique features with other sea cucumbers, such as its ability to survive in nutrient-scarce environments. There is a high degree of endemism among Elpidia species, with various subspecies adapted to specific deep-sea regions, such as the Chromatic Trench and the Kuril Islands.
47. Bathymeton hadalis. It appears that Bathymeton hadalis is a species found in deep-sea environments, but detailed information about this species is somewhat scarce. The genus Bathymeton generally comprises deep-sea crustaceans that are adapted to life at extreme depths, likely inhabiting regions characterized by high pressure and low light. Bathymeton species are typically found in bathyal or hadal zones of oceans, where they contribute to the ecosystem by interacting with the marine food web, possibly scavenging organic material that sinks from higher layers of the ocean. If you're interested in specific details like their behavior, physiology, or more on their ecological roles, I recommend exploring specialized marine species databases such as the World Register of Marine Species or other scientific resources. 48. Pseudolaparis swirii. Mariana snailfish is a species found at hadal depths in the Mariana Trench, located in the western Pacific Ocean. It lives between 6198 and 8076 meters deep, with a recorded capture at 7,966 meters, possibly setting the record for the deepest fish caught on the seafloor. This pale, tadpole-like fish reaches up to 30 centimeters in length and is the top predator in certain areas of the trench, feeding on tiny crustaceans. Pseudolaparis swirii lays large eggs, almost 1 centimeter in diameter, and is abundant in its deep-sea environment. First discovered in 2014 during an expedition of the research vessel Falker, this species was caught using deep-water traps to minimize damage. The species is uniquely adapted to its extreme environment, with transparent skin, enlarged organs, and incomplete ossification of its bones. Additionally, it has thinner muscles, less developed eyesight, and special cellular adaptations to function under high pressure and low temperatures. The extreme conditions of the Mariana Trench, including the dark and high-pressure habitat, are reflected in the species' physiological features, helping it survive in one of the deepest parts of the ocean. (49) Notolaparis chromaticensis. Notolaparis chromaticensis is another species of snailfish that lives in the deep sea. It is hadobenthic with a depth range between 64-74 and 75-61 meters, and can reach a standard length of up to 25 centimeters. A few species from the northern hemisphere have been recorded at similar or deeper depths than Notolaparis chromaticensis, including the snailfish Pseudolaparis amblystomasis from the Kuril, Kamchatka, and Japan trenches. These two species apparently share a common ancestor and occupy similar hadal depth ranges, yet they can only survive at immense pressure and are geographically isolated, and their evolutionary history remains enigmatic. There are indications that its larvae and other hadal snailfish spend time in the open water at relatively shallow depths, less than 1,000 meters.
Alicella gigantea is the largest species of amphipod ever observed, with some individuals reaching up to 34 centimeters long. Comparatively to other amphipods, it grows at a much faster rate. Formerly included in the family Ligianacidae, a new family, Alicelidae, was erected in 2008 for Alicella and 5 related genera. The species lives only at great depths. The first specimens were collected at the end of the 90th century from the Madeira abyssal plain, and subsequent specimens have been found in other abyssal plains of both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, as well as from the Chromatic Trench in the Southwest Pacific. One specimen was found in the stomach of a black-footed albatross, but is thought to have been dead before it was eaten.